Hello everyone, and welcome back to Story Speak English channel, where learning English is easy and fun. I'm Jenny.
Hello Jenny. Hello everyone. It's great to be here.
Hi John. How are you today?
I'm doing really well, thank you. And you? You look very happy today.
I am very happy. I'm excited for our conversation today because it's about something every English learner needs, no matter their level. We're going to talk about why learning to talk about yourself in English is so important.
That's right. It sounds simple, but when you meet someone for the first time, usually the first thing they ask is something like, "What's your name? Where are you from? Or what do you do?" If you can't answer these basic questions smoothly, the conversation can stop right there.
Exactly. And I've seen it happen so many times. I remember one of my students, a young guy who was really good at grammar and vocabulary exercises. But the first time he met an English speaker, the person asked him, "Tell me about yourself." And he completely froze. He didn't know what to say, even though he had learned hundreds of words in class.
Oh yes, that's such a common experience. Sometimes learners think they need big, complicated sentences to sound impressive, but really introductions are about clarity, confidence, and connection. If you can say who you are, where you're from, and something small about yourself, you're already starting a conversation in a natural way.
Absolutely. And the reason for talking about yourself is so powerful because it's something you'll use in every situation. Whether you're traveling, meeting new friends, going to an interview, or even joining an online English class, people will always want to know about you. It's like your key to open the door of communication.
I love that idea. A key to communication. Let's make it real for our listeners. Imagine you're at an international airport waiting for your flight and you sit next to someone who smiles and says, "Hi, where are you from?" If you don't have the words ready, you might just smile back and stay silent. But if you've practiced, you can say something like, "I'm from US. I live in California, and this is my first time traveling to London." That already creates an interesting conversation.
Yes. And notice how simple that example is. No fancy grammar, no difficult vocabulary, just clear, short sentences. And when you practice saying them out loud, you become more confident. That's why we always tell our learners, don't just study English, use it. Talk about yourself every day, even if you're alone.
That's a great tip. Actually, I know some learners practice in front of a mirror. They stand there and say things like, "My name is Anna. I live in Madrid. I'm a student. In my free time, I like reading books." It feels a little funny at first, but it really helps because when the moment comes to speak to a real person, the sentences are already in your mouth. Yes. And practicing little stories about yourself can make your English more natural. For example, instead of just saying, "I like football," you could add one more detail like, "I like football. I play every weekend with my friends." That extra detail makes the conversation flow better and the other person has something to respond to.
Exactly. And when you think about it, learning to talk about yourself is not just about English. It's also about confidence in who you are. When you introduce yourself in another language, you're saying, "This is me and I'm happy to share my world with you." That makes you more open and people feel more comfortable around you.
Right? And this is something we see all the time. People who can talk about themselves confidently in English usually make friends faster and get more opportunities. For example, imagine going for a job interview. If the interviewer asks, "Can you tell me about yourself?" and you can't answer, it doesn't matter how many grammar rules you know. But if you can speak clearly about your background, your experience, and your interests, you immediately make a strong impression.
That's so true. I remember one learner who told me that being able to talk about himself changed his life. He used to avoid speaking in English because he was afraid of mistakes. Then he practiced a short introduction every day, just a few sentences. And when he finally had to meet new colleagues at work, he introduced himself confidently. His colleagues smiled, asked more questions, and suddenly he felt included. That small change gave him so much motivation to keep learning.
What a great story. And it shows that this is not just about language. It's about building real human connections. When you talk about yourself, you're giving people a chance to connect with you, to find something in common, and to keep the conversation going.
If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to follow this podcast so you don't miss the next lesson. And share this with your friends who are also learning English. Practicing together makes it even more fun. And don't forget, the more you practice, the more confident you'll feel when speaking English in real life.